Good morning, everybody. Good morning. As soon as I hit the live, or as soon as I hit the, for me to come on, my dog shakes her ears really loud. I don't know if you heard that. That was kind of funny. They've been so quiet. And then all of a sudden I come on and they're loud as could be. But they weren't really that loud. So, because I'm letting them sit with me today. So, how is everybody today? Good morning. It's a morning live. We haven't done a morning live, I think, in a little while. It's been, I don't know, a couple weeks at least. My hair is still wet from my shower this morning. I was rushing to get everything done because I wanted to make sure that, we were here to see everything. What was I going to say? Oh, if you guys could hit the like button, that will send out the video into the algorithm. It'll help bring more people into the chat. I want to show you this picture here, and I'm going to turn my camera on too. So last night, I don't know if you guys remember, or not last night, but it's been a few nights ago. We had a little contest. We were joking around in the chat, and I said, I bet you money that Bryan Entin is first in line, at the courthouse today, Latah County. And then I was like, well, wait, maybe it'll be Nancy Grace because, Nancy's pretty tough. So check out this picture. This was on Bryan Entin's Twitter feed today. Front and center he is. So you haven't missed anything. You got here with perfect timing. So yeah, we're gonna do a live stream about Bryan. Yep, that's what we're doing. And Ellie, oh, you're a member for 2 months. Oh, you're welcome too. Thank you for being a member. And thank you guys so much. Oh, I meant to turn my camera on. I want to thank you guys with my camera on, even though my hair is wet and I haven't even put on lotion or anything because I was rushing around. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, being here for all my lives. Everything you guys do is very much appreciated. I remember who comes in the chats and who's not. If you're missing for a couple of days, I'm usually there to remember, remind you to make sure, are you okay? I always reach out. So I want to thank you guys for making it to where I could do this. We got 8,000 subscribers. We hit the 8,000 mark. I said to Vincent on Thursday, I was like, by Monday, I'm going to have 8,000 subscribers. I forget what we were at. I needed 40 or 50, maybe 60 even, I don't know. But we did it. We did good. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. It really is appreciated. So I appreciate that. Today is going to be, I feel like, a good day. I have a good feeling about today. Hey, Rich. Zoom. Oh, 5:50 p.m. over there. Or over here. Where are you from? 5:50. Oh, yeah. You must be from another country. Yada. Is it Yachty? Yachty. Oliver. Oh, that's cute. So I do have Court TV ready. I have LFLA. Is that what? No, WFLA. I can't ever say their name. WFLA. And they're doing just a live feed right now. So I figured while we're waiting on, stuff to come out, we can go over what Bryan Entin has kind of put out on his Twitter because he's live tweeting everything right now. So basically, I'll give you guys kind of what I've heard is going on today with the cameras and everything like that. So he has 3 different hearings today. So they're going to do, one hearing, and then it's not going to be so his hearings were scheduled 9, 10, and 11. They're not going to most likely take a break in between those hearings. They're just going to shove them all together. So it'll be one after the other. After they are done with filming, they are allowed to stream it out. Court TV is in there. There are the cameras that are allowed to be in there. So they're going to stream it out as soon as they can to, WFLA. Bryan Entin will get it, all that good stuff, and then we will get it. So we're just going to be a little behind because there's no live feed in the courtroom. So I'm glad that they're at least doing this, though. I'm just really, I'm glad that they're giving us something. And I hope they don't take the cameras out of there. I hope nobody goes in there acting a fool today. Because, that wouldn't be good. So I was going to show you this here. I don't know if you guys remember the other night we watched this interview with Kaylee Goncalves' dad. And I was going back through the Twitter, Bryan Entin's Twitter, and I was like, this is a good one to play. So I'm going to play this video for you. This is Steve Goncalves the other day. Was it May 17th? Looks like it. May 17th, he was on Banfield and he was talking about, you know, the upcoming court and what he thought about Bryan and what he thinks about what's going on. So we'll play this really quick.
I'm going to stick to the message that this family will do everything in its power to make sure that if everything rolls out and we know for a fact with the evidence that this is the person, then he's got pit bulls after him. So we're going to be there at every moment, analyzing every piece of data, going through everything to make sure that it is the right person and we hold them accountable. And that, you know, that kind of pressure has to come from more than just one parent. It has to come from all of us. And that's what we're working on. I know on Monday, I won't be the only parent down there. There'll be other families there. And I think it's a moment of solidarity that we're getting more and more people active. And you got to give people time to figure out how they want to respond and how they're going to just wake up and deal with an everyday situation. But they're all starting to get their power and their strength, and they're all ready to go to court. And I think that courtroom's going to get more and more crowded.
Do you mind me asking if you know what other parents are planning to be there Monday?
I don't want to put them on the hook in case they wake up that morning and they don't feel like going. But I know of 2 other families that are planning on being there. We're organizing even the path that we get down there together. So anything can happen, and everyone has the ability to decide to change their mind. But I'll be there. I won't be changing my mind, and we'll have at least 9 seats of us there. And I hope that some of the other families feel that the more uncomfortable we can make this room and the more that we can represent each person that was robbed of their lives, the best we can do. I mean, it's not going to fix the situation, but there should be some accountability when you take people that are special.
I was trying to type in the chat. I'm wondering if Jack is going because he said that there's 9 people going to be with him. It could be family, like grandparents or something, because I believe so if you don't include Kaylee, there's 4 children remaining, and then the 2, you know, Christy and Steve. So I'm wondering who the other ones are going to be. Maybe Jack. Do you think Jack will go? I mean, I don't know. He may. You never know. Never know. Let me go back over to here so I can show you some more stuff on his Twitter. Oh, it took me back to the top. Or did it? Yeah, it did. He's been tweeting out some stuff, it looks like, today. Or is this? I'm not on his page anymore, I don't think. Okay, and we'll listen to this too. So I think that was all that was there. Let me check over here. WFLA. They're just talking to Jennifer Coffinduffer. They were trying to talk to Bryan Entin today, but he had to go into court, and they were saying like we couldn't get anybody to come, and they're like, but Jennifer Coffinduffer's here to like join us, and I was just like kind of laughing. So we don't know. All the hearings are starting it'll be 9 their time, so 12 Eastern Standard Time. So 12 my time anyway. And then we don't know if they're going to give us, like, do one hearing and then give us that clip, and then do a second hearing, give us that clip, or if it's going to be just one long clip that we get after all 3 hearings are said and done. But they will be back to back. They're not going to be taking breaks in between, most likely. They'll just do, because there's 3. So I know, Summer. I saw that in the beginning of the chat. I was so excited. 8K. Vincent texted me. He was like, you did it. I was like, well, I did what? Because I was rushing around. I wanted to work out before the live. I've been doing really good. This is my 6th week in a row, except for I take Saturday, Sundays off. So I'm like feeling good about it. Okay, so I want to show you this too, because he was at the house last night, it looks like. and he just like shows, you know, the home and the flowers and things that people have left, and he talks about it in here.
So it's really dark out here outside the house where the murders happened in Moscow. We're here for the arraignment tomorrow. Looks like there's a lot of new flowers outside the house. They've got this like trailer now with like a security guard inside. Last time I was here, there was a security guard in a car outside, but now they have like a little trailer for the security guard. And the house is all boarded up. There's a fence around it. It's pretty quiet here, I think, because a lot of the students went home after graduation. So yeah, back in Moscow. And I'll be there really early tomorrow to get in line to get a spot for the arraignment tomorrow morning. Cameras will be allowed. We'll have a camera, but we won't be able to give the video until it's over. We'll feed out the video. So, but I think we'll be able to tweet live. You said, right?
Yeah.
So I will be able to tweet live from in court. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the morning. But
He sounded really sad. Like, I mean, I know he's not, you know, I mean, he's a reporter, but he sounded really sad there. Makes me feel bad. I mean, you know, it's very touching that people are still putting up flowers and gifts and cards and pictures, but I have never seen a situation like this, like where they have a camper set out. Because we showed you last night on the live too, I showed you a clip of, it was during the daytime. Like, I cannot imagine what is in that home that they're like guarding it like that, you know? Because, I mean, I guess it's such a high profile case, but they didn't do this stuff with like OJ or anything. I don't remember them putting up a camper and having someone sitting out in front of, you know, OJ's. It's very strange. Or Nicole Brown Simpson. But it looks like he got first place in line. He was like, I'm here. There's a fly in here, y'all. That's not cool. So, this is like a 4-minute video. This is him just talking outside of the Lake Tahoe County courthouse. And he's just explaining what's going to be happening today. So it'll kind of get us all ready. I love your name, Poppy May. I love that name. That's cute. Yeah, they probably do. I think there's just a lot of stuff, and I think it's just because like maybe people would break in, but every crime scene I've ever seen like on TV or I've ever heard about, they just put like crime scene tape up and then they just peace out. Like if someone breaks the seal, then they're like, oh, someone was in here, even though like, you know, this is the better way to do it. But it's insane that they have like a camper out there. I can't even imagine what's inside that house. So let's see what Bryan has to say. I didn't get to watch all of this, so it'll be interesting. Oh, also, before this starts, they are, what did he say? 2 of the families are going to be in the court for sure. And Steve said that they were like trying to set up where they could all arrive at the same time, which I think that's a fabulous idea. You know, better in numbers. If if this is who killed these 4 kids, I think that, you know, it'd be better than one family walking in. You know what I mean? I think that I feel like all families should go to at least the opening and like the arraignment, because that's not going to be pictures and gory stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, they won't have to look at that stuff if they don't want to, but they'll still be able to be there and be a part of it. Because I don't want any of them to regret not being able to go and not be able to, you know, do that kind of stuff. But I think that Ethan's parents said that they weren't going to go. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Xana and Maddie? Because we haven't heard anything really about Maddie. Like, from her family, you know what I mean? Like, they had like a couple interviews and that was it. Some families are joining through Zoom. Okay, Poppy. Yeah, I bet that's what Bryan Kohberger's parents are doing. I had the old Zoom link, And I was like, should I do it on my phone? But I was like, no, you'll get in so much trouble. I'm so bad. I'm so curious to know. You're right, Ellie. You're right. I think this story got so much attention because of the fact that it was 4 young college kids, the fact that they were sleeping, and then the fact that they all, like, we got that food truck video. I feel like that came out pretty quickly, and it was something that they could grasp, like we could all grasp onto. I think it was something like the public was like, oh my God, that we're looking at these girls right before all this stuff happens, and all they were doing was sleeping. And I think that it just got traction like that. Just like, just some cases get really, like, look at the Quentin Simon case. That was a shit show outside of that house for how many days? 40 days or something? 20 something or 30 some or 40 something. I don't. It was insane. So, hey Nicole Marie, and I saw Ray come in too. Hey girl. So hopefully this will be quick and we'll get the coverage of it. But hopefully I want to see like him for a minute. We'll see. We'll be able to see if he knows how to use a razor since he's been in there for a while. I just want to see if the vegan diet is working for him. If he's got bigger, smaller. Because sometimes you go into jail and like you get bigger. And I'm like, how can you be eating jail food like that and get that much bigger? I mean, like, you'll see a big difference. So, yes, exactly, Kelly. It happened in the middle of the night where we're supposed to be safe. I think that was a big thing too. Like, I'm trying to think of what got me on this. Like, I'm trying to think of the first thing that got me here. Like, but it was just like when I heard about it, just here we were. Okay, so let me check WFLA just one more time. They're just still talking to Jennifer Coffindaffer. We'll go over and listen to them here in a moment too. And I have, I don't know if you noticed, can you see my partner in crime? I got a co-host today. Her name's Mia. Ever since the Alec Murdaugh trial, though, I've been calling her Mimi. Like Paw Paw. I say, Vincent noticed it. He's like, you've been doing that since Alex Murdaugh. And I'm like, you. But yeah, that's my girl back here. Look at my burn marks from my heating iron. Oh my gosh, they look so bad. I say that every time because it looks just terrible. But yeah, that's my girl. She's sleeping. So she'll let me know when she's ready to, go outside. I don't want her to wake her up. But she'll let me know. She'll come over and stand beside me. That's what she does. Oh, yeah. You're Sharon Tate. Yeah, could be. I know. It's weird that it's that we're talking about the younger generations. Because, I mean, yeah, a lot of people that are even OJ is out of a lot of people's minds. Because that was, 94, 96 or something? I just know so much about it because my dad had it on the TV all the time. Like, can we watch something else, Dad? We're watching OJ. So I'll play this, and if anything happens, with WFLA or anything, Court TV, I'll keep my eye out because this is just like a 4-minute video. Maybe we'll see somebody walking in or somebody we know.
Hey, I just wanted to get on here real quick because a lot of people were asking about the Kohberger arraignment and how it's going to work. I got to go back in there in a minute because we're all kind of lined up in this little entryway. The courthouse isn't open yet, but someone started a list, so I think I'm okay to be outside. But I'm going to go back in a second. But basically, the hearing is going to start at 9 a.m. local time. There's a couple hearings today. His arraignment will be at 9 a.m., where he will be read the charges and he'll have to plead guilty or not guilty, the charges based on the grand jury indictment. And then there's 2 more hearings after that related to the gag order. So we are allowed to have a camera in the courtroom. So it will be videoed, but we're not allowed to live stream it. So when the hearing is over, we'll be able to put the video out. But I will be allowed to live tweet. We clarified with the court because last time it was a little confusing, and I didn't live tweet just because I was nervous. I didn't want to like get kicked out. But this time they said live tweeting is allowed, just no video or pictures. So I will live tweet it. So I got into Moscow yesterday, really actually pretty late. I went to the house last night. I put a video. I'm going to go back in the daylight, but it's different over there. Everything is boarded up. There's like a security hut outside. Moscow's pretty quiet right now because graduation, I think, was last weekend. So a lot of the students are gone. So it's quiet. It's much warmer than last time I was here. It's like in the 60s. I haven't seen any family. But we know that some of the victims' families are going to be here just from talking to them. So they wanted to be here for this. From what I know, Bryan Kohberger's family is not going to be here. That's sort of the latest I've heard. But the arraignment, some of you asking how long it'll take. It's going to be really short. We're told like maybe 10, 15 minutes. But this is the courthouse. Courthouse is really small. And the jail is like underneath the courthouse. That's actually the entrance over there. So his cell is like kind of in the basement here. And then they just bring him right up to this little courtroom. It's a very small courthouse.
They said he did? Okay, I'll take it back then. Sorry, I took myself off. Oh, sorry. I took myself out of the StreamYard trying to get to the Twitter so fast. I went back on the wrong thing. So let me go back to them. Thank you. That's what I was doing. I was going up. So no, he doesn't have anything on here though about Bryan Kohberger. So where are you guys seeing that? Okay, right here. Is it on this one, maybe?
Of course, he enters the courtroom. That will signify the beginning of the arraignment.
Here we
Again,
go.
the arraignment is going to be a formal presentation of the charges from the indictment. And then, of course, Bryan Kohberger is expected to enter a plea of not guilty. But we'll, of course, follow this in real time on Twitter. And then the moment that we're allowed to give you the video from inside and transmit the video from inside the courtroom, we will do so here live as we see some people making it up the stairs.
They'll give us
into
live
the
tweets
Latah
too, and I
County
can go back and
courtroom.
forth.
This is believed to be in the last hour at some point.
It says,
Again, this is courtesy of our friends at News Nation. Jennifer?
Bryan
You
Kohberger
heard,
just came in.
JD Bryan describe that it's emotional already in that courtroom.
I'm trying to
And
see if I
would
can get
very
people,
much
like-
respect that.
I'm trying to see if we can find people
This
like
is really
that we
difficult
know
for
and we
these
see.
victim families, and this is their first time
So let
being
me-
back in the presence and realizing now things are going to move forward.
Coming in, everybody, WFLA senior investigator Walt Buteau is sitting down here with us on screen.
Okay.
Just sit right over there, Walt.
I'll go back to
Yes,
Bryan
so it comes
Entin's thing.
down.
Yeah, because he's not sending out pictures or anything. He's just tweeting. So that's why I went to WFLA, because I thought maybe they would have a picture or a video or something. But we were down here earlier, so I was literally just an hour ago. I was going upwards. It says, made it into the courtroom. It's pretty small. Kohberger's not here yet. Prosecutor Bill Thompson just walked in. That was 26 minutes ago. 17 minutes ago, the victims' families are arriving in the courtroom. Kaylee's sister Olivia has her baby with her. Aww. Aww, little Maddie May. I count about 25 people here sitting in the family section. I like that. A lot of people I have not seen before. Many are already emotional. Oh, mercy. Family is on one side, media on the other. About 50 people total, because nobody's there to sit behind Kohberger. Totally quiet in here, waiting. All you hear is reporters typing and Olivia's baby making soft cooing noises. Aww. I'm gonna retweet that because that's cute. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you do. It's Titanium_built. 8 minutes ago, it says, I don't see any of Bryan Kohberger's family here, but there is also an overflow room I can't see. 3 minutes ago, Kohberger just came in. Kohberger is wearing an orange jail jumpsuit. Oh, sorry. So he is in orange today. Seems to be wearing a bulletproof vest underneath. Well, yeah. Judge is reading Kohberger his rights and charges. Kohberger is looking straight ahead and nodding a bit to show he understands what the judge is saying. Now, I wonder if I have to refresh this or if it'll just automatically refresh. Do you guys know? Okay. So 49 seconds ago, Kohberger said, yes, I do, when the judge asked if he understood anything he says can be used against him. I'm going to pause this. Sorry. That way it's better for you, easier for you guys to hear me. Sorry. And then, I wish I could make this bigger for you guys. It says, judge is now going over the indictment. I think that's what it says. It says inducement, but I think it means indictment with Kohberger. So Kohberger wanted to hear the indictment. A lot of people were wondering if he even wanted to hear the charges against him because he kind of knows what they are and what they're about. So they're letting some of the families do Zoom. Someone is doing Zoom right now. Court TV doesn't have anything right now. No live streams other than, nope, no live streams at all. Now, there was a new video that came out we could watch while we're waiting. But this is coming in pretty quick, so let's see if I have to refresh it. Nope, I don't. So we'll wait a minute. Man, Bryan is on it. Oh, Herculean, I'll pray every day for these kids and their families. I really do. I really do. Yeah, Liz, you're right. Yep. We're just, and we're not sure if they're going to do, one big court proceeding after, or one long video, or if they're going to be able to cut it into, the charges, or the motions that they're doing. Because they're doing the prelim, and then they're doing the gag order, then they're doing a motion, so, or scheduling. So they'll be there for just a little bit, but to get through all the actual, questions to Kohberger are not going to take time, but going through the charges and, all of that stuff will probably take a little time. Let me stick on Bryan's page. See if anything else is going on. I even have both of my iPads charged just in case. And just remember, if you want to become a member, I will put that in the chat. Also, make sure you allow gifts on your YouTube, because a lot of times we'll gift out memberships just for the hell of it. Like Summer last night, she was Oprah last night. Summer's new name is Oprah. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. You get a membership. I loved it. Everyone gets a membership. Hey, Huckleberry. Oh, Cindy, I bet you have. I love your name. This is my mom's name. I'll say it every time. Every time I see the name Cindy, it makes me think of my mom. And my mom would have prayed real hard for them. So what they're going to do, Kelly, they're not going to, what I've heard is they're not going to take breaks in between. So it's a 9, a 10, and 11 a.m. hearings. But what they're going to do is they're going to do them back to back to back. They're not going to take, if it's a 15-minute, prelim, they're not going to take a 45-minute break and then come back at 10 o'clock. They'll do them all back to back to back. So it'll, we should get it. We're just wondering if they're going to do it where, they do the prelim part and they can shove that out and then they go to the next part, or if we have to wait all the way through. So that sucks though. Summer is amazing. She's my girl. Okay, WFLA don't have anything right now. Court TV. No. Bryan Entin. Okay. Here we go. It says, the judge is reading each victim's name as he goes over the murder charges. Madison Mogan, Kayla Goncalves, Xana Coronado, and Entin Chapin. Judge tells Kohberger the maximal penalty is life in prison or death. This is going to be a rough one. Y'all, I can already feel it. I can already feel it in my bones. I can't even listen to the families talk without having to turn the camera off because I'm crying, so. Hey, Dawn. I'm trying to go back up in the chat. If I haven't said hi to you, I'm so sorry. Welcome in. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, really. Thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys coming in here and spending some time with me. I really do. Because there's a lot of people, you know, streaming this, so, and then a lot of people that weren't even invested in this case, or they do like 2-minute videos here and there, like don't, you know what I mean? Like they're not invested. Like I feel like a lot of my chat and I myself and a lot of you guys have been. So I'm glad that you guys are all here. It makes me feel good. And we made it. We made our 8,000 mark. You know, oh my gosh, that's exciting. Now we just got to do the 10,000. We're gonna do giveaway. We're gonna get our Nancy Grace cardboard cutout. If you're just now joining, we are getting live tweets from Bryan Entin from inside the courthouse. They have, you know, told him that, you know, the judge told him that the maximum penalty is prison or life imprisonment or death. They read off the murder charges for all 4 victims. It says Kohberger says yes, that he understands the charges and penalties. So no, yes, Your Honor. Again, I think that's weird. Kohberger is standing silent, so the judge is entering not guilty pleas. Oh, hell no. So he's not even pleading. He's just standing quiet. So if you stand quiet and you don't plead, the judge automatically puts you in for a plea of not guilty. Does anyone else think that's weird? That he didn't plead not guilty? That he just stayed quiet? Because silence to me is a big, big deal to me. And I've been that person that's always said, if he did it, allegedly, if he did it. But I swear, if he's not even going to say he's not guilty, go Steve! You know Steve was in there all swole, mutton chops. He was probably pissing his pants. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is crazy to me. Wow. Let's see what else he said. Wow. I want to see this on video when it comes out. The prosecution now has 60 days to seek the death penalty, and I think they will. Kohberger's attorney is asking the judge to set the trial for October. She says it'll take at least 4 weeks, maybe 6. Give me a fucking break. Letitia Stout was supposed to be 8 weeks. Lori Vallow, 8 weeks. This case, 4 people, I see at least 8 weeks. But they're saying 4 maybe 6. Well, happy birthday to me. My birthday's in October. Who else? Someone else was in October. Was it Kelly D? Were you in October? I can't remember, sweetie. Let me know. Oh, yeah, no, we're going to be here for a while. Buckle up, Mystic. We're going to be hanging for a while. And don't worry, I'll try to make it, you know, we're going to have other cases to go over. Oh, you're August? You're October's number? Oh, Beam, are you October? Oh, wow. October 12th. Maybe it was Tammy. Maybe it was you, because I remember it was like around my birthday's 17th. That's exciting. So, you know, guess we'll be celebrating. I'll be boozing now that I don't even booze. Oh, welcome, Dawn, to the membership. Appreciate you joining. And we do like members only lives. We do all kinds of fun stuff. I wanted to do like a members only and do like a trivia or something funny. We always laugh anyway, but you know. Let's see what else has been said. Oh, here. Okay. So it says Bryan Kohberger's trial date is set for October 2nd at 8:30 a.m. Wow, that's early. Let me write that down. So trial date, October 8th. Well, that's okay. Oh, October 2nd, are you kidding? Hold on a second. I go to... Holy camole, y'all. Okay, every September, the end of September, me and Vincent go to California to visit his mom. Can I put a tent on a plane? Because I'll be going to the courthouse. Just a few states over. It's like a 12-hour drive or something or more. I don't know. But don't think I won't. But yeah, I'm just like, October 2nd. I think it's either the beginning or the end of September. Maybe it's the beginning. We always go out for like to visit Vincent's mom, Haru. Court's adjourned. Okay, so maybe we'll be getting... I don't know if it's just for that case or if it's for all of them. So let's see. Because they haven't done the motion or anything, the hearings yet. It says court adjourned. Let's go over to here. They're not showing anything on WFLA yet. Court TV. They don't even have like a live stream like set up, which is weird. So they're probably just going to their videos, I'm assuming. You're contemplating going? Kelly D, don't you like have a van though? Like you like have like a van life? Because if I had van life, I'll be totally there. Hell yeah. I'd have to fly. I couldn't drive in a car. Could not ride in one of our cars, no. I would be like, my ass would hurt so bad. But I don't do good on planes either. Well, I do great on planes. Just our last plane trip sucked. Because I was smushed in the middle. I don't like to be in the middle. So let's see. Trying to make sure I keep you all in the loop. Okay. I'm wondering if we should watch the new Court TV that just came out, and then I can keep my eye out for anything that comes out. It just said, it says blood splatter, DNA in Kohberger case. Let's see. Oh yeah, Summer, most likely. Yep, they'll need a continuance. Yep, and you can get a shit ton of continuances. Like I ain't lying, you can get them. Like Nicole said, "Heck, if I was in America, I'd go." I've never been to Idaho, but it looks gorgeous. Like I've always wanted to go out there. Like when we went to California, just like not Idaho particularly, but like anywhere just like out in that area because it's just so different from Ohio. Like I don't know, it's just very different out there. Mountains and even California, the mountains and the hills and the just everything. It's like it's just very overwhelming sometimes. I don't know if I could live out there. Vincent asked me that sometimes, if I could live in California. I would live, though, in a town called Hacienda Heights, most likely, and it's all Asian. And when I say, like, all Asian, I'm not kidding. I would be the only white girl in the whole town. They have one American restaurant that's not fast food, and it's called Barbecue Chicken. It's like that's the name of it. I was like, I would be dropped into a place. I'm like, I don't even speak the same language because a lot of them speak different languages. But I was like, what would I do? But I stay in all the time anyway, so maybe you never know. If you come to America, Nicole, we're meeting up. I don't care. We have to. I'm in Ohio. If it's I don't care. We got to. That would be so exciting. And if anyone ever comes to Ohio, let me know. I would love that. Oh, I love barbecue too, Eddie. It was so sweet. His mom. So his mom knows, I guess she knows I don't really like Asian food that much. Like really at all. And I didn't want to be rude, so I was like, but I didn't have to be because his mom went out and we saw the restaurant and I was laughing about it. And his mom like got a whole catering thing of like all this barbecue chicken and stuff. And I think she thought like this is American because she's from Japan. Like, so she really tries, and that's all that matters. I mean, she tries. So we don't even speak the same language. She speaks half Japanese and like half English in her everyday wording. So you're like, what? And, you know, you just shake your head and smile. Yeah, we saw that Zoom. Yeah. October 2nd, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. So 8:30. So I would be on at like 11:15 or 11. I was going to see if maybe these channels, let's see. We'll watch that video. I'll see if there's anything on WFLA. Nope, they're just still talking Jennifer Coffindaffer. So yeah, we'll play this video real quick. And because I don't remember them talking about any blood splatter evidence. So let's see what they have to say. And I'll be in the chat because I haven't been able to go back and look at the chat for a while.
The state of
and please don't forget
very
to
big
like
case.
don't forget to like the video. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, we do cover all true crime cases. We are covering today just Idaho because he is going in for arraignment.
Counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. Today, he'll be appearing for his formal arraignment on these charges. So his case is now up in district court. Previously, it was in the magistrate court. And each of these charges stems, of course, from that night last November where the lives of Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Cornoto, and Entin Chapin were tragically taken. And as the ball gets rolling toward justice for these young people, we want to take a moment to look back at who these victims were and the promising futures that they had ahead. On November 13th, 2022, at around 4 a.m., 4 college students were brutally murdered. Each would soon become household names, known for their deaths, but remembered for their lives. Kaylee Goncalves, she was 21 and born in Concord, California. Her family describes her as sociable, strong, and a hard worker.
Kaylee was our middle child out of 5. She was always competitive. She was smack dab middle, so Stephen and Olivia were a little bit older. And Aubrey were a little bit younger, so she kind of had to figure out where to fit in, and she definitely did.
Maddie Mogen, also 21, was best friends with Kaylee since childhood. Maddie's family says she was known for her offbeat humor and her ability to make others laugh and smile.
She was so great. She lit up every room she'd come in, and she was just so positive and fun, and we love her and miss her so much.
20-year-old Xana Cornoto grew up in Idaho and was a talented gymnast as a child. In high school, she played volleyball, track, and soccer. Xana was going to school for marketing.
Xana was such a light in my life and so many others, and she knew and understood me more than anyone. Losing her is the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, and it has left me heartbroken.
20-year-old Entin Chapin loved sports and country music. He was Xana's boyfriend, a triplet who was incredibly close to his family.
We are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him. And I want to remind you that that's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
Those poor victims, those beautiful people with their whole lives ahead of them. Let's not forget, as this case continues proceeding through the criminal court system, that those 4 people are what this case is really all about. We have a very special guest joining us this morning on the program. Forensic pathologist Dr. Michelle Dupree is with us. Good morning, Dr. Dupree. Thank you so much for your time on this Monday.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We love to have you. We love to pick your brain. And on this one, this is a tricky one because we recognize that we haven't seen all the evidence, right? I want to just start, please, Doctor, with what questions do you have? You know, because talking to a lot of our wonderful courties and true crime aficionados, we all have many, many questions. I'm curious, though, what questions does Dr. Dupree have about this one, please?
Well, I'm sure it's like everyone else. I mean, I really want to know why.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a horrific crime, and it was done in such a horrific way. I want to know what caused it. As far as the rest of the questions I have, there are so many. You know, did he single them out? I think we know the answer to that. But again, if so, why? Did he feel rejected? Perhaps did he do this because he simply thought he could get away with it? Is he that narcissistic? You know, so many questions.
Certainly. Tell us, please, what questions do you think could be answered at autopsy?
I think that we can answer, obviously, the cause of death, which we know. I also think that we can answer, were there any defensive moves? Did they actually fight back? Was anything done to maybe...
And Doctor, I believe your audio just cut out. While we try to repair it, I have a clip I want to play. This goes to exactly what you're talking about. This is from Captain Roger Lanier. He's with the Moscow Police Department, and he's talking about how all 4 of these victims were asleep during the attack. Let's watch.
We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as a homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims who were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault.
Okay, so then that may rule out sex as a motivating factor. No sexual assault took place. Defensive wounds. Some of them had defensive wounds, as Dr. Dupree was just talking about. So some of them did fight back, which says a lot about the brutality of these crimes and just how violent these deaths were. The location of the 4 bodies is something that has been questioned, talked about, and again, because we haven't seen all the evidence, it's tricky. We sent our Court TV crew to the scene to do as much investigative work as possible. I want to play a clip where Chanley Painter is talking about the location of the victims' bodies as we believe them to be found.
Authorities say the murders happened on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the home. The 2nd floor holds the common areas, which include the living room and the kitchen, where those glass sliding doors are located, where it seems investigators believe the suspect could have entered that morning. There are 2 more bedrooms located on this floor as well. The investigation likely points to Xana and Ethan being in that 2nd bedroom the morning of the murders. Towards the back of the home near the kitchen is another set of stairs that leads up to the 3rd floor. Once on the 3rd floor, the stairs seem to lead into a loft area with a bedroom on each side and a shared bathroom. There is a letter M located in the left side room's window, which would seem to indicate this room was occupied by victim Maddie Mogan when she was murdered. And according to a TikTok video posted by victim Kaylee Goncalves, it seems the room on the opposite side of this 3rd floor would have been her room.
Okay, so we know they're on different levels. 2 of the victims, Ethan and Xana, on that 2nd level. The 3rd level, Kaylee and Maddie, the 2 best friends in the same bedroom. Let me bring back in Dr. Michelle Dupree. We were trying to repair that audio. I don't know if it's much better, but I want to give it a shot, Doctor, while we have you. You were saying you'd find out if they fought back, and it appears that they did, in fact, fight for their lives. Tell us what else you would be looking for. No signs of sex assault apparent, according to the police captain. But what do the defensive wounds indicate to you as a forensic pathologist?
Well, they indicate that they were at least awake during part of the attack because they did try to defend themselves.
Right, which is incredibly sickening to think that they might have been awoken by being stabbed with that enormous knife, that K-bar knife. It's sickening. They're heavy. It's even hard to hold. And then what's really puzzling is that knife sheath left behind. Was that an accident, or was that left as a message, as a trademark or something by the killer? I want to bring in one of your incredible colleagues, Dr. Dupree, forensic expert, the owner of Kenny Kinsey and Associates. Dr. Kenny Kinsey is joining us now as well. Doctor, good morning to you. Thanks for making time for us. Would you talk a little bit about things that could be clues at that crime scene? Perhaps the K-bar knife sheath. Is that a clue left behind, or is that sloppiness by a criminal?
Good morning, Ms. Julie, and thank you for having me. I believe it was sloppiness. I believe it's mistakes on the part of the perpetrator. Surely, with the advent of touch DNA, or I guess the way it's evolved over the years, that a PhD student would consider that a major mess up. So I believe it was accident. It was in haste, and he was quite busy trying to cover his tracks, and I believe the knife sheath's going to be pivotal in this case.
Dr. Kinsey, would you walk us through, please, if you were in charge of investigating these deaths and how it happened, the way in which it happened, and going in there and reconstructing things? Give us an idea of how you would do that, if you would, please.
Well, the first thing would, the documentation of the architecture itself. You got to decide which way you're going to go in and out. You're going to have your workers go in and out because you don't want to destroy that blood spatter. And I would imagine there will be a lot of blood spatter in this case that will give a lot of information.
Let me check something, because I think that it may be on. Okay, yep. Okay, let me rewind this. We only missed 1 minute of it, so.
Facing 4 first-degree murder
He's getting
charges,
ready
as
to
well
walk
as a
in now,
charge of
guys.
burglary
Don't
as
forget to
well.
like and share and subscribe to the channel.
The silence we're experiencing now as we wait for the video.
There it is.
There
Let's
you
listen
go.
in.
Okay.
He got a haircut. Looks healthy.
All rise. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Good morning, everybody.
Now, this is just his arraignment, so I want you guys to know there's 2 more things that'll probably be on the docket.
We have some people on Zoom here too, so we're gonna hide them. Okay, let's get on the record, please. Thank you. Okay, we are now on the record in State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, CR 29222803. Mr. Kohberger is in the courtroom along with his attorney, Ms. Taylor. I believe also part of the team is Dave Logston and Elisa Massa, who is participating by Zoom, I believe. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson, Lake County Prosecutor's Office, or Prosecuting Attorney. Ms. Jennings is of that office too, Lake County Prosecutor's Office. Also, part of that team is Ingrid Beatty and Jeff Nye, both from the Idaho Attorney General's office. I'm John Judge. If you don't know me, I'm a Latah County District Judge, and I'll be presiding over this case. So, Mr. Kohberger, you've already heard a lot of what I'm going to tell you at your initial appearance, but I'll repeat it to you because it's important, and I want to remind you of these issues. So I'll briefly cover your rights, the charges against you, and the maximum penalties if you are found guilty or if you plead guilty. So I'm going to start with the rights. You have a constitutional right to have an attorney represent you throughout these proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, then one is appointed at public expense. Ms. Taylor and her team have already been appointed, so that's taken care of. You have a right to a speedy and public jury trial where the state would be required to prove every element of each charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. At that trial, you would have the right to cross-examine the witnesses called against you. That means to see, hear, and question them, to call witnesses to testify for you, and if you choose to testify in your own defense. But you're not required to testify because you also have a right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions, so you can remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way. What you do need to remember, though, is that anything you do say, other than to your lawyers, could be used against you in a later court proceeding. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. You also have a right to appeal any final decision of the court. In order to exercise that right, you need to file a notice of appeal within 42 days of that final decision, or that right is waived. Also, if you are not a United States citizen, any finding of guilt in this state could have adverse consequences to your legal status. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Any questions about the rights?
No.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kohberger. So let's go to the indictment. Do you have a copy of the indictment in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you see in the heading your name there. Is that your correctly spelled complete name?
Yes, it is.
Is that the correct birth date underneath your name?
Yes.
Are those the correct last 4 digits of your social security number?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to read you the charges on the indictment, starting with count 1, burglary. That is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-1401 and 1403. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. Count 2, murder in the first degree. That was a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died. Count 3, murder in the first degree, a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kayla Goncalves, a human being, by stabbing Kayla Goncalves, from which she died. Count 4,
Kaylee
murder in the first
Goncalves.
degree. That's a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Alleging that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Lake County, State of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Zana Kernodle. Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry. Zana Kernodle.
Xana Kernodle.
A human being by stabbing Zana Kernodle, from which she died. Count 5, murder in the first degree. This is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Lake County, State of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died. This is signed on May 16, 2023, by the presiding grand jury. So now I'm going to go to the maximum penalties of each charge, starting with count 1, burglary, minimum 1 year, in up to 10 years in imprisonment, fine of up to $50,000 of both fine and imprisonment, restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. For counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, murder in the first degree, maximum penalties, life in prison, or the death penalty. Fine of up to $50,000 for both fine and life in prison or the death penalty. Restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. Also, additional fine of up to $5,000 to be paid directly to the victim's families. If you are found guilty or plead guilty on each charge, and the maximum sentences are imposed consecutively, that means one right after the other, you could be facing 10 years in prison, followed by 4 consecutive life sentences or death penalties, fines of up to $200,000 and $20,000 to be paid directly to the families with any restitution resulting from the crimes. Okay. Kohberger, do you understand the charge in count 1, burglary?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 2, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 3, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 4, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 5, murder in
Yes.
the first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Kohberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing aside.
Because Mr. Kohberger is standing silent, I'm going to answer.
He couldn't even say that part himself.
On each charge, counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, at this juncture, the state has 60 days to give notice of intention to seek the death penalty. And Mr. Kohberger has a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy trial. So let's start with you, Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Thompson to discuss some schedule.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial, right? We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today.
Okay. Count it out, and that will be November.
I have not counted it out, Your Honor, but I believe that would be about November 22nd, and this one's maybe November or something around there. So I'd ask the court to set it for an October trial date.
How long do you think it will take to try the case?
My best guess is it would take at least 4 weeks, maybe 6.
So you'd like me to set this for a 6-week trial?
At this point, I would, Your Honor.
Well, and in order to do so, I will have to get rid of some of the other 3 trials I have, but this is more critical and more important. So, Mr. Thompson, what's your...
Those trial dates are workable for the state judge.
Thank you. About October 2nd, starting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for 6 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Anything else we need to address today, Ms. Taylor?
Not with regard to the trial setting, no.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson?
Nothing to say at this time, no.
All right. So with that, by the way, I do want to let everybody know, if they don't already know this, that once the grand jury issued the indictment, preliminary hearing scheduled to start on June 26th was no longer needed and was vacated. So some people are confused about that. So I thank counsel and the media and the public for your attention and respect. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
Bryan Kohberger electing to stand silent, and the judge entering a plea of not guilty on the 5 charges, 4 for first-degree murder, an additional charge for burglary as well. JB Buno, WFLA senior investigator Walt Buteau here with you live in the WFLA Now Stream Center. We're really going to hone in now on your reaction, folks, your comments. We use our hashtag system here in the Stream Center. So if you use hashtag HeyWalt, hashtag HeyJB, I think Jennifer Coffindaffer might still be hanging around. She's invited to pop back on whenever she'd like. I see her in the corner of my screen as well. But either any of the hashtags on your screen, and we can bring up your questions, your comments. Well, I want to give you the opportunity to react here first. I have a couple of things to point out as well, but let's start with you.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but he definitely answered the judge's questions. And you don't always hear that, believe it or not. You don't always hear that from defendants. There's sometimes at least a hint of shame might not be the right word, but in his case, he answered every question very directly, full-voiced, spoke up. except when it came to the plea, when he remained silent, and we knew he had remained silent for the plea, and that the judge had to enter the not guilty plea for him. So it sort of, I guess, maybe surprised me that he was sort of so forthcoming and spoke up so much when he was asked those other questions. What did you think?
The word that I'm going to use is very present.
Yes.
Alert.
Yeah.
And
like he was asking like he was being asked questions about what'd you do last night, or he was being asked.
But he made clear he was enunciating his responses.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back during over the course of us watching this, I was thinking, my goodness, he is very coherent. And I think back to some of the trials, and our audience members on WFLA Now in our comment section know what I'm talking about when we're talking about some cases like Darrell Brooks, which was all over the place, just straight chaos at every turn.
Unbelievable, really.
Talking, of course, about Alex Murdaugh, where it was, there was points where he was, just crying. He was just covered in tears as far as emotion. I think back to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where there was smirks and twitches. And I know that we're really early on in this process, but this was as straightforward, direct, coherent, and concise of responses as you'll hear from a defendant.
I saw one of the first January 6th Bay Area defendants, one of the first Bay Area defendants from January 6th during a federal hearing where cameras aren't allowed in it, as the judge was.
I think that was all of it. So did they do all three right there? I think they did. Arraignment, they did the status conference, motion hearing, but they didn't do, but they were supposed to address the Goncalveses. So do you guys know if they're going back in to, because they were supposed to address the gag order for the Goncalves family today, for their attorney. So I'm wondering, because they're just over here talking, I should unpause it and just mute it. Oh, what is this? I think they're just going over it.
And people that have watched me before know that the very last thing I ever do is ignore people in the comment section and their observations. And as far as the pronunciation of the names, our comment section was lighting up about the. But I wrote down one note. Brian Entin did such a great job on Twitter as far as documenting what transpired that it was very easy for us to follow along. But I did document one thing here in my notes, and Judge stopped at one point and said, "Sorry, this is hard." Did you catch that?
Yeah.
He stopped as he was reading the names of the victims, and he just said,
"It is hard.
Sorry,
Absolutely,
this is hard."
Because they're not just names; they are people, and the way their life ended is just not supposed to happen. And I don't know the judge. I'm going to presume that he's a father, and I know in those cases with us, I know you're not a father yet, but you think of your kids. That's what you think about. You think of your own kids. People might think, we don't put our opinions in the story, but I'm sorry. A story like this captivates people because we think of our own families. And I don't blame the judge for showing that bit of emotion, that it was hard.
Apologies
for
that transition there. That was the wrong transition. But that is a look at Judge John Judge. Oh, this is now a second camera angle that we're getting. So they're feeding back
now
multiple
we're seeing the judge.
Angles, and now we're seeing the judge. Because
can you play the audio on this? Maybe
I can. Yes, we can bring this up.
Except there isn't.
No.
Maybe sometimes they'll feed the second one without audio. That's too bad.
The second without audio.
That's too bad.
So then they're going to sync it up later. I
it
guess.
Would have been nice to see the pause when he said, "This is."
Let me hold on. Let me try one more feed. Let me make sure. Let me just try some wizardry here for a second and see if we can bring up any audio from. No. So they're feeding back the second camera angle without audio. So yes, that moment where Judge, and people will be able to sync this up later, but the moment where he said, "I'm sorry, this is hard." Let's not forget. And Jennifer, I know you're standing by. We'll bring you in here in just a second. In fact, let's pop you on screen now. Let's not forget what he's looking at. In front of him, he's looking at the suspect alongside the defense attorney and Taylor. He's looking at prosecutors, and then behind him, and a packed courtroom, and most of the folks in attendance are family members, and as the names are being read, there's no doubt going to be an outpouring of emotion.
I wanted to read to you guys the standing silent, because I had never, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, in a trial before. But it says here that standing mute definition. At an arraignment, a defendant is asked how they plead to the crimes charged against them. The defendant can plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute. Standing mute means a defendant does not take a stance on being guilty or not guilty. They remain silent. Standing mute or remaining silent has the same effect as pleading not guilty, because a judge or magistrate will enter a not guilty plea on the defendant's behalf. So why did he not say not guilty? I'm blown by that. Like, you've been sitting in a cell for 5 months and you have nothing to say. You can't even say not guilty. And there's going to be interviews coming out with like the Goncalves family and stuff. So I'll be on the lookout for those on News Nation for sure. Speaking of which, actually, let me see. Let's see here. Yeah, Court TV hasn't even put it out yet, it looks like. So, that's interesting. Let me see if they've dropped any more documents. Oh, you think he might plead the 5th? I mean, standing mute, it said, is the same as pleading not guilty in the eyes of the court. But, like, I put in there, why would someone stand mute? Let me see. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just read this up here. It says, there are a number of reasons why a defendant may choose to stand mute. In some cases, they may be attempting to delay the proceedings or hoping to negotiate a plea agreement with the prosecution. In other cases, they may be protesting the legitimacy of the court or the charges against them. So, maybe that'll help a little bit. Yeah, and when you plead no contest, that means that you're not pleading. You're pleading. Okay, so what it means is the court has enough evidence against you that if you were to go to trial, more than likely 12 people, or at least, would find you guilty. So instead of saying I'm guilty, you just plead no contest, meaning you're pleading to guilt. In the eyes of the court, you're pleading to guilt. Steve, me too. I was like, I don't know. I always thought that the police, did their due diligence because there was no other killings. There was nothing else going on. But when I don't know, standing in silence to me it speaks volumes. And I know there's going to be channels out there that are going to say, oh, he stood silent because he's allowed and that's his right. And that is his right. But, I mean, in this case, and he's a criminology student, he knows the differences. And, so it's just crazy to me. Yeah, I feel like this may be a game to him now. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I wonder what their defense is going to be. Like what their strategy is going to be. I'm very curious to know what was in that Ann Taylor's laptop. She looked pretty good though. Like she maybe rested pretty well before the court started. But I guess that was it. I thought that it would be a little bit longer, but I guess it was shorter than we thought. And I haven't seen, no one said anything about, Bryan's family showing up. So I don't think that they were going to be there. Oh, wait, never mind. It's going to be, okay, so hearing related to the gag order is getting ready to start. So I lied. Because I thought that the Goncalves had a case today too. So that's what we'll have to do. Papa said he's waiting for the prosecutor to announce on the record whether they're seeking the death penalty or not. If he plans to plead guilty to save his own life, he has to wait for the prosecutor to announce it on the record. That's very true. I think in the end, and this is what I've been saying since the beginning, and it's just me, and it may not play out like this, but I feel like he's going to end up seeing evidence that we don't know, and it's going to be stacking up against him, and he's going to look at the totality of it, and he's going to be like, if I plead guilty, will the death penalty be off the table? If they do seek the death penalty, which I think that they will. I don't see why not. Unless they don't have very strong evidence. If they seek the death penalty, then we know that they've got some evidence that we don't have. Which I know that they have it anyway, but I think that they will go for it. I think that they will. That's a good question. Like what kind of relationship he had with his mom. Because his mom didn't come out trucking all the way to Washington to bring him back. That was old dad. Have a good day, Mystic. Aw, Glowbug. If you need any help, let me know. I've put together a couple funerals in my day, so and I know how hard it is. So let me know. My email is titaniumbuiltboo@gmail.com. So Wi-Fi's cutting out. I know. I want to get like another Wi-Fi signal, like one that you can take with you, like portable one. That way, when I'm down by the pool or something, we can talk. I thought it was going to be a lot longer than it was. I literally could have done all this afterwards, which is fine. I mean, like I took a shower, I worked out, which is good because it's done. Maybe I'll go sit by the pool, even though the pool's not open. I'll just sit down there by where the tables and chairs are. I think he's clenching because he's mad. We could probably look up like body language. Like why do people clench their jaw? I would say when they're mad, when they're tense. It's called bruxism. It says the common causes are emotional stress, anxiety, and anger, drug use, physical stress, illness, nutritional deficiencies or dehydration, sleep problems, bad tooth alignment. I don't think any of that is. So I think it's more like the anxiety or the anger. I think it's more anger. More anger that he got caught. If this is him, which the standing silent, man. Do you think he did? You think that he's smart enough to okay, so let's say he was out there on YouTube land or Facebook land this whole time. Do you think that he would be that smart to play games with people? And just put a little bit out there like that, like you know what I mean? I'm gonna stand silent tomorrow, so that way the internet just goes nuts. Because that's what's going to happen. Blah 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 said he seems angry. Yeah, I think he seems angry too. I don't think he seems stressed. If he was, I don't know. In my mind, when I'm stressed, you can physically tell. Like I'm shaking and anger. He left the sheath behind. Dawn, that could be so. You could be so right. You could be so right. He could be pissed and not at himself. Because no, he didn't do anything wrong. He would blame it on probably Maddie or Kaylee. Like, oh, one of them, like maybe Kaylee fighting back. She just had to fight back. So I left the freaking sheet underneath Maddie, or I left it at the scene, or, you know. I could see someone being like that. Let me see. I didn't see it. Oh, RW could be right. Yeah, if he couldn't wait, yeah, as Susie Blue said, if he couldn't wait to be exonerated, I would think he would have pled not guilty. Me too. That's what I'm like. Man. And then going over the press conferences last night for Moscow, it really put in perspective what exactly we did have as facts before everything got convoluted. You know what I mean? So it was nice to go back through those and like get a fresh start. Yeah. You're right, Pop Raja. Manipulator, yeah, maybe, yeah. I can't believe Bryan Entin was like right up front today. Someone wrote he walks like The Sims. That's funny. Let's see if there's, I don't think there's anything else on Bryan's tweet. Let's see. It says, can't stop thinking about Olivia's baby in court. Oh. There's Kohberger. He does walk a little funny. Maybe it's the bulletproof vest, or he might be in shackles actually. Let's see how he's walking. I think he's in shackles. Maybe. I don't know. The way he sat down though, he sat down and was like, I can't put my leg up, but it was like kind of like spread apart a little bit. Like when he spread like right there. I don't know. Maybe though. Because I don't think they would let him just not have anything on. Yeah, wow. Man, this is nuts. So now we just got to wait for the next one. Oh, this was sent from the Goncalves family. It says here, the family would like to thank everyone for continuing to follow this case and keep the memories of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan alive. They are what is important, not the defendant. We are thankful that the Latah County District Attorney's Office finally took the case to the grand jury and came back with an indictment. At the same time, we are disappointed that the judicial process has not been more efficient in addressing the gag order. This is just the beginning of a long journey for all the families, and we are thankful for your continued support and coverage. So, I mean, personally, do you think that they're going to lift this gag order because it's a new judge? I don't think they will. They're going to keep it in place. This judge is not going to want to step on the toes of another judge. To me, anyway. Oh, I didn't see him doing that. I didn't see him doing that with his tongue. Oh, wow. Catherine said, I looked up stand mute and originally it meant that you were not eligible for benefit of clergy. In a criminal proceeding, it is frowned upon to invoke your rights through the use of silence. Well, he's frowned upon. He couldn't even say your honor. Like, I mean, as his defense attorney, she should be telling him, be a little nicer, you know? Okay, so they're not. I don't know how long that first one took. What time is it? 1. I don't know how long it took. If you guys are just now joining us, though, hello, hi, welcome. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, it really does help my channel grow. We're trying to get to 10,000 Titans right now. We're trying to do a new giveaway. Also, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, it does send people into the chat. So it's always fun to have more people in the chat, get more opinions and stuff. So if you like to do that, that'd be great. We're just waiting kind of on the next part of the process here. Let's see what's going on over here. I'm going to actually check, make sure, see if there's any paperwork that's, because sometimes they file it really quick. Nope. Not on there yet. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys. We're already up to 8,021. You guys are amazing. It makes me so happy. YouTube's hard. So y'all are tough. No, it really is. It's tough. I've heard this from other YouTubers as well. It's a lot harder to get people to subscribe to your channel on YouTube than it is if you were on TikTok or something along those lines. Because I don't know why. I think maybe it's because we make longer videos and things of that. So yeah, no more skipping class, or we'll come and find you. Literally, Summer was finding people in chat and bringing them back yesterday. And thank you for sticking around, I love that. I know that we were going over some older things last night. It wasn't brand new, but it was nice to get a refresher. So, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it. Let's see if there's anything new on here. I'm really curious to see who was all with them. And they're just talking over there. Maybe we'll put that on. Oh, here. We can watch the rest of this. We were watching this earlier, and we can just watch it while we're waiting to hear.
Information yield a lot of clues to these investigators. So you've got to determine a sequence as best you can, and you've got to work it as several small crime scenes. Go in, document that spatter, and just as important as documenting sequencing and movement of the victims, movement of the perpetrator, you've also got to work on the presentation, because there are many levels of, just like many levels of journalists, there are many levels of crime scene presentation. So you're going to have all levels involved in this agency or agencies. So you got to start working on that presentation now, because you don't want to turn the jury off. It's long, boring testimony with lots of numbers and lots of ratios. So I would go ahead now, once they've got that documentation, and I'm sure they're there at this point in time, I would start working on my team. Mm-hmm. And if they have a National Advocacy Center or some type of where they train new attorneys, I believe I would have these men and women in there now starting to work on their presentation, even if the results are generic results at this point in time. It's going to be a lot of pressure on these men and women in front of this jury, and I believe DNA is going to help tell a lot of this story. So I would work on it now. It's not the most interesting testimony, but it's going to be very pivotal in this case.
Most certainly. That's an excellent point, Dr. Kinsey. Dr. Dupree, to you, something that Dr. Kinsey touched on, with the blood spatter. And one might think that if it was one individual who carried out these 4 violent homicides with that huge knife, that he would have some blood on him. And something I want you to speak to, if you would please, Dr. Dupree, surviving witness Dylan Mortensen, who apparently was never threatened, but did see whomever carried out these homicides exiting the home. Nowhere in the description of this person is blood. And that astounds me. I would just think that somebody would have to be covered in blood. Please tell me, am I wrong here? Would you speak to this? Because I think a lot of our courties would want to know. Please, Doctor.
No, I think you're absolutely right. It's a violent crime. It is very bloody, a very bloody crime scene. And I would expect that the perpetrator would have a lot of blood on him. Perhaps he wore like a tie-back suit or changed clothes or whatever the case may be. But I would expect this would be a very, very bloody crime scene.
Okay. I wanted to finish that since we started, and I was trying to read the chat. I was wondering where Teresa's been. Is she still on a cruise? I should check on her. Because I feel like cruises don't last that long. But thank you guys all for being here. We are just waiting on the next, court proceeding to end, and then they will stream it live. I will put it over here to WFLA, so that way we can kind of listen and see what they're saying for a minute.
How do we protect the integrity of the process, but also follow constitutional law and make sure that freedom of speech, freedom of press
Also, drop any questions in the chat and we'll answer them for you.
A defendant also has a right to a fair trial, and that can be violated.
So,
I would have to argue, of the two, even though I'm a journalist, the right to a fair trial is far more important than our right to information.
And that's why I find it interesting that does law have to catch up with the times and the technological ability now for people around the world. We have people that are joining us on YouTube right now that are joining us from quite literally multiple continents, and people that can consume information in real time and vocalize their opinions and thoughts and observations and feedback on the legal process.
I think he was wearing that or something similar because they did find a Dickies tag. And I don't know what kind, but that could be it. Also, it says that Bryan Entin just tweeted 3 minutes ago that Kohberger is back in the courtroom for the gag order. I don't know if I told you guys that. I thought I did, but I wasn't sure.
All in real time. That was never possible ever before in human history, that in real time you can follow someone's legal fate. You can follow the fate of Bryan Kohberger. Actually, in Idaho, you can't because you can't stream the video. But I mean, if this case, just like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, you could follow every time that something happened in the courtroom. It wasn't just the people in the courtroom that were reacting to it. It was everybody around the world that were watching it in real time. So perhaps there needs to be more of a conversation in this country about how the legal process in high-profile cases especially is protected, but also that constitutional law isn't violated when it comes to us being reporters, the media having access to what is happening so that we can document history. All right, that's enough of that, I promise. Let's go back to some of the comments that are coming in. And so Bryan Entin is tweeting, according to a lot of people that are messaging me in all caps, and says that Bryan Kohberger is back in court right now for the gag order hearing. So he has elected to appear. Now, as we
Wow, I got you the news before they did. Look how fast I am.
understand it, there might have been the option for him to waive his right to appear. But Jennifer, this was just my 2 cents on this earlier. Given his background, given his, given his education, him being, there's very little surprise here about him wanting to be involved in the process, and also not being in a rush to get back to the same solitary confinement cell that he has been in for the last 5 months, correct?
He is going to be an integral part of his defense. He is tearing through those terabytes right now. Well, maybe not this moment, but that's what he's doing in his cell, and he's not going to miss 1 minute of these hearings.
So he's back in court for now the gag order. Now, if you're Bryan Kohberger and you're hearing about this gag, what does Bryan Kohberger think of the gag order?
I would bet he doesn't like the gag order. I don't know.
Oh, I think he wants it.
Maybe he does.
You think he wants it, Jennifer?
I think he does. I think he
Yeah, you're
wants
probably
it because he's going to want all the fame, and he's getting the fame because his name is out there every single day, every single hour. But he doesn't want all this evidence that they have out. I'm very convinced of that.
When I said he would like it, I was thinking the same thing about wanting the fame. Of course, that would be
he's gonna have fame regardless, right?
But if he is who we might
fame,
think he
fame
is,
isn't the right word.
infamy
Infamy is the better word. Yeah.
If he wants, but of course he would. I mean, if he is who some suspect he is, for him it's fame. It's not infamy.
Right.
But I just wonder if. Well, I don't know. Jennifer's probably right, and if he's a criminal, he was studied criminology. He definitely would want the gag order if he's studying criminology, because he would understand the danger of information getting out, partial information getting out, information getting interpreted, information corrupting a potential jury pool.
Isn't the more access the media has to the process and the more interviews that take place and the more prodding that exists, is there a thought behind there's more of a chance for some sort of mishap to occur that jeopardizes the legal process, and that's behind also Bryan Kohberger's analysis of the gag order, Jennifer?
Well, anytime you put witnesses up where they can be interviewed by the media, there is such a huge issue with them giving a statement, and then they would have given a statement previously to law enforcement, and then they gave a statement in the grand jury, and now they're going to give a statement on the stand. So from a prosecution standpoint, it's horrible, because you know how it is in the media. I mean, you make one miscue with a word and it's, a big deal. Can you imagine in court if they just misstated something or corrected it? It's a very difficult situation. So that's what the prosecution is looking at avoiding.
Very interesting. I want to go to this comment from Lissy saying #KJB. I, as a lawyer, would also appear. So understandable he does that as a criminology student. Yeah, there's very little surprise to me, and that he wants to be involved in his own defense. He wants to be involved in the process. He doesn't want to be in the.
Well, I think you make a great point, though. I mean, he also probably, well, we don't know anything about him. We don't know enough about him. Maybe he likes to be alone, but you make a great point. What's the option? Going back to my solitary confinement, or at least being in a room with people where I'm the center of attention? And maybe if we're interpreting his personality correctly, he wants to be the center of attention.
Just some different oxygen. Being
Right.
in a different
Jails
room.
smell. I can tell you, jails smell. There's the one thing about jails that you can't. I mean, they smell, and I'm not
And I
saying.
don't mean to laugh. It's just because if you've ever been to a correctional facility, they're all they're all unique, but I know what you're getting.
There's an odor, and it's bad food and humanity. I hate to say it, but
It's not fun.
It's not, and they're dark and they're dim, and I've always thought solitary confinement would be better than medium security when you're in a room with a bunch of other people that you don't necessarily know or trust. But yeah, why would he? I mean, he would.
Hell no. That guy is so wrong about he'd rather be in solitary confinement than be in a room with people that he don't know. When you go to jail, you still need interaction with people. You don't want to be in solitary confinement. I will say jails do suck. I mean, they just do. Like, jail sucks. But I don't know, the way that they're describing it, I don't know. But I do agree, and I totally thought this when they were asking if Kohberger was going to stay for the other two motions that they were going to hear today, or if he was just going to go back, after the arraignment. And I was like, hell no, he's going to sit in there for the whole thing. Like, he's getting out of jail. Anytime an offender can get out of jail to go to like court or go to arraignment or anything, they will take that. They will take the offer up because they just They just will. Because they want to get out of jail for a little while. Shit, I would too. Thought I read something, but hey Jan, I hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's okay with your grandbaby. Do a 24-hour live when I hit 10,000 Titans. That'd be a long live. If I hit, I don't know, maybe if we do 10, it might have to be more than 10. If we hit 20 or 25, once we hit there, me and Vincent will have to sit down and do a video together, like a Q&A or something. Because, you know, Vincent's my right-hand man, but he's never here. And you guys hear so much about him. And a lot of people, a lot of you guys in the chat, you guys want to know more about him. Because, you know, he's kind of the reason why I'm here. And so I thought maybe, like, that would be good. Because, like, it'd have to take a lot for him to get on a camera. He's very shy. But I could do, like, a long live stream on it. You might have to watch me sleep if I did 24 hours. But they have those. Have you seen that? People will live stream themselves sleeping, and they'll have so many people in there watching them just sleep. It's very weird. It's very weird. As far as you know, he's safe. But that's all that matters, Jan, you know. I felt so bad I didn't see your tweet or your message until like later, and I was like, but I did see a couple other creators, big creators, were posting about it, so I was really excited about that. Yeah, summer's the best. But yeah, I wanted to say something about
Definitely.
that. Let's see
If
what
you have a
else we
choice between.
Let's go to some more comments and questions that are coming in, and let's continue to follow Bryan Entin on Twitter and make sure that we're not missing anything.
I did have one comment while you're looking at those. I just think both sides, you know, no matter what the audience, what everybody is thinking right now, there's nothing more important than the judicial process being followed appropriately, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because no one wants this case to not see justice or to be overturned on appeal, no matter who wins. It's just we want the process to be fair. If the fight isn't fair, if the process isn't fair, it's not a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's,
No
it's
doubt
all
about that.
about protecting the process. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and making sure that.
But in a case like this, with as much media, the skilled media, international media, who know how to cultivate sources, there will be leaks no matter what.
There already have been.
All right, and there will be plenty of leaks. And because it's not just the Idaho, Boise, I think they have one TV market in Idaho. I don't remember what size it is, but it's a sort of beginner's TV market, if I recall.
Like Boise?
Boise, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, great city, by the way.
Yeah.
I've heard. But my point is, you're now going to have these journalists who are the Bryan Entins of the world that are, and others, you know, who have and producers who you don't even know who their names are, and they know international, and they know how to push for leaks.
Yeah.
And so there will be leaks, whether you have a gag order or not. And those leaks could theoretically be damaging, but they will definitely provide information that I know people are looking forward to hearing about this case.
I'll just say, sources say has just
don't like it.
Right. I mean, you and I are in that same.
I've always used sources. I've said sources say, but as a last resort, I've known people who said a source tells me. That is what?
Yeah, no,
really. But I think the source should be used as a tool to work on people like Jennifer, maybe not Jennifer because it's the FBI, but to let maybe somebody, to get somebody on the record, you know, but that has long gone away.
Jennifer, if I had come to you 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and tried to talk you into being a source on a high profile case, your reaction would be what? I'm putting you on the spot.
Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
What if Jennifer, what if we had a great conversation and we had our similar views,
No
about
way.
the world, and
No way, man.
and we had so much. Okay,
No way.
maybe you and I are we have friends common. Nope. See that the FBI is
No way. But I do want to say this.
ironclad.
because For the media individual, I just get to provide analysis of the information given, right? No matter whether it came from a source. I'm strictly just analyzing the information before me, right? But if you're in the media and you have a source tell you something, aren't you obligated to report that? And I don't know, because I'm really not in the media per se. So
No, if a source came to me with information, my first instinct as a journalist is to vet it, is to try to, and as to your point, Walt, go for a second source.
Well, and you go for the, and you could go to a law enforcement agency and say, look, here's what I'm told. And, part of it is psychological in a way. How do they react? Are they stone-faced like we think Jennifer would have been? Or like an FBI agent would have been? I mean, I've known FBI agents to talk a little bit, but nothing on record.
You've had more luck
nothing
than
on
I have.
record.
I've never had a federal agent. I've made friends with a lot of cops. I've made friends with a lot of state troopers, state police. I've never a source in the handful of times where I've said sources say. I'm just going to say, I don't think it's ever been an FBI agent. I have a better chance making I feel like I have a better chance making one of my cats come to life.
We got a new tweet, so I wanted to let you guys know. Goncalves family attorney wants the gag ordered issues resolved quickly, asking the judge to address it this week. They need to address it right now. Thank you, Dawn. I know we're even missing one of them today. I wonder where she's at. I have to get a hold of her.
Life and talk with me at home.
I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to fast forward it. Oh, what do I do? Oh, I got to hit play, I guess.
Look, for us...
It's an excellent question, though.
For us, though, look, I got to be honest with you. I'm never 100% sure about anything in many ways, because anything can happen. You can get close to it, but the point would be, if it's a source and that doesn't want to be identified, they could be making something up. So I wouldn't consider anything a source tells me is necessarily fact. I want something from the source that makes me believe it is a fact. And as far as the responsibility to report it, I would again go back to, are the sources telling me that a water supply is poisoned? That's the public good. That's important. Are the sources telling me, I'm working on a case today about a...
Well, I don't know what's going on here. Well, crap, I just took myself off of there. WFLA.
Of the reality of the situation, and then it's really, if you just then announce that on Twitter, then you're not doing your job as a reporter to then dig into what's the other connecting tissue really of.
Hold on 1 second, sorry.
White, who won a Pulitzer Prize. He was a journalist for the Providence Journal in the early 70s. His story is why, the use of his story is why, and I believe he used sources in that story. Not to question Jack White at all, but he won a Pulitzer because his story was used by national reporters to ask Richard Nixon about his income taxes. And this is why Richard Nixon uttered the words, "I am not a crook." It was because of Jack's story. But sources in that case were a different thing, but in other cases, I think, I don't know.
It's an interesting conversation, one that we could probably have for a long time.
But my point, sorry,
yes.
I forgot what I was,
I get it. I do this streaming stuff a lot.
So,
I get it.
Jack said, and he's not the first to say it, get it first, but get it right. And it really should be get it right, but get it first.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, we want to be first, and it's way more competitive now than it's been ever. News Nation, for example, still a relatively new entity, pushing out there to get answers and get them first. No doubt about it. But there's more media, and there's unprofessional media that I'm sure source tells me, and that's out there too. So and let's not pretend the professional media doesn't compete with the unprofessional media. For somebody who just is out there to get clicks, because we do. We look at it and we'll say, I got to verify that. I got to verify that.
And this is why so much information will surface on Reddit, some of it true, some of it untrue, but like you'll get a whisper of an allegation, and then the responsible journalists, responsible reporters, upon receiving that tidbit, will then work to confirm it or work to garner its authenticity. And so we have a process here as far as receiving information. Walt and I, we try to, and others in our newsroom here at WFLA, we work on maintaining our standards all the time and ask the tough questions. But Jennifer, I appreciate you asking
That's a great question. It's a nice question.
It's
I
a
appreciate that
question now that is so, this case is almost a microcosm for how we go about what are the ethics, where are the standards, where is the line when it comes to receiving information from sources, and how you vet and then report that information if you do choose to report it at all. So there's a lot of minutia here that goes into the weeds as to how we go about our business. But I appreciate the conversation. Let's go back and just make sure I haven't missed anything coming up for air here for a second after our talk about journalism ethics and the use of sources. Bryan Entin tweeting out 5 minutes ago, the Goncalves family attorney wants the gag order issues resolved quickly, asking the judge to address it this week. The judge says because the media coalition went to the Supreme Court, it has slowed the process down. Interesting. So the judge is saying that the media coalition's decision to go to the highest court in Idaho has complicated and slowed the process down. I find that to be...
Isn't Idaho one of our reddest states? I believe it is. I just looked it up. It's a very conservative state. I'm not saying, and I just would say that theoretically, and I don't know if the judges there are elected as they are in Florida or appointed. If they're appointed, I mean, a conservative judge is going to take, I think, that approach for release of information. I've had judges who would let us in the courtroom but not record the audio because they did not want anything taken out of context. They were expecting, okay, you've got to put the whole testimony, which we can't do in a story that's a minute and a half. And I kind of get that. I get that because out of context can be out of context, and it can slant a case either way. But so that sounds like a conservative view of it, but it could very well have slowed down the process.
But I know Jennifer is just thinking, just protect the process, right, Jennifer?
No, what I'm chomping at the bit about is that the media.
I think Jennifer, if you can hear us, you froze up a bit on the Zoom call. Hopefully it'll unfreeze here in just a second. It's always when they blink. It's always when they blink too. So now
it was also at a very like a cliffhanger point of view. Like she said, the media.
Yeah, she was setting
like
it
the
up.
next sentence would have revealed what she was going to say.
Jennifer, if you can hear us still, it appears we've lost you on the Zoom call. You're frozen. I'm still looking at you here.
Okay, so it says here this was 33 seconds ago. The judge says AP/media coalition needs to tone down their challenge to the gag order. Ooh. Yeah, tone it down, guys, because he's going to take the cameras out of there if we don't tone it down. That's what it sounds like to me. So, wow. But I'm going to play this, and I'm going to keep, looking out for tweets. Because we are waiting on the next hearing.
Here on my multi-view, so we'll try. Not everyone has the same standards.
No, there's standards, no doubt. And people may not realize this, but so we know a guy that's a national correspondent like Bryan has gone up through the ranks and worked in markets. And the way it works, you work in market A, which is a smaller market, maybe a Boise, Idaho. I don't know if that's a starting market, but the smallest market is Glendive, Montana. It's 2010, 210. There's 210 markets. There are journalists, TV journalists and print journalists who will start with a small paper and maybe stay there their whole life, which I think is awesome. The money's not going to be very good in those places because the commercials aren't as expensive. But I think it's awesome when somebody stays in a place and reports in the place they know. However, the people who want to move up will sometimes be a little overly aggressive on
overzealous.
They need a scoop. I need a scoop. I got to put a scoop on my reel, or I need a scoop in my newspaper, in my clippings. And I think so that's one form of competitiveness. But then you get into the bigger markets, and all of the networks want to break something on this story. And there's, it's all about, I hate it, but it's all about money, right? You want to scoop because you're going to get viewers, eyeballs, and that's money, and that drives it. And I think that drives the overly aggressive reporter to go, a source tells me.
But to your point, we've talked a lot about this. I know Jennifer has unfrozen, so we're going to come back to her in a second to finish her point. But really quickly, this is why you and I have that same uncomfortable reaction when you read a piece of work and it's entirely built on sources say, or
but you read it,
to be.
But you read it.
Yeah, but as a reporter, I shift a little bit, and I get because man, you're putting a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in your sources, and really it's in a way going all in at the poker table, because if your source is wrong, or your source has manipulated you, or your source has an agenda, or if your information isn't correct, or it's only telling a part of the story,
that's right.
You're
taking something out of context.
You're jeopardizing your career.
So yes, and I'll tell you, I think in this world where our former president, in my opinion, and I don't have a dog in the fight, I really don't. But when our former president, in my opinion, misused the word fake news over and over, to the point where now the national people across the country use fake news as to opine on a story they don't agree with, or they use fake news maybe to opine on a story that is all source based. Well, that fuels that, and it because fake news, what fake news really means, it is fake. It is a completely fabricated story, and stories that the former President Trump said were fake news, they weren't completely fabricated. He just necessarily didn't agree with it, so because of that, I think it's important, more important than ever, that we verify somehow on the record.
Yeah, and I've talked about on stream in the past about how the public in a lot of different ways has lost. But there has been the trust that exists between the public and the media at large has endured. It's been fractured in a way, but I hope that people remember that there's different section. Just calling it the media or just calling it the news, like there's so many different sections of the media, so many different sections of the news industry, and some of it goes up to what people would refer to as mainstream media, all the way down to the local journalists pounding the.
Sorry, my dogs are walking around. If you guys could hear them, I didn't have it on mute, and I thought I did. I'm going to run my little puppies out to the side yard really quick, but I'm going to leave this playing. Also, let me check Bryan Entin's Twitter really quick, because it seems like we're getting updates faster than they are there. So here we go. It says there are two, I'll share this with the tab with you. There are two different issues happening in court right now with the Kohberger gag order. The first one is the Goncalves attorney wants clarity so he can speak on the behalf of his clients. 2, the media coalition is fighting for more public information / less restrict gag order. And that's all that we have right now. So I think I got us caught up. And then I'll let this play, that way, it's not too quiet. And they're answering some questions from the chat right now.
Other obligations. I just wanted to say the media made a terrible mistake skipping the district judge. And that is a big point that I think is partially at
Say
the
that
bottom.
again. It did what to the district judge? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
They skipped him.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go and ask, the president without asking the vice president. They made a crucial error, basically saying, we don't really care about what this district court judge says. So you've got the layers. It was the magistrate judge, then the district judge, and then the judge above that. And instead of going the right sequence, they jumped him. And that is seen, I can tell you, as disrespectful.
And I think that was in all likelihood done to expedite the process, saying, look, it's going to, I guess if you're the media coalition attorney, you're of the mindset that this is going to go to Idaho Supreme Court eventually. It's going to be challenged at that level of the state eventually. Let's just can we just get this along and move this along and just get to the highest court in the state possible? But that's not really, in Jennifer's opinion and others, that's not exactly how the process works.
She's right. I would have to agree with her.
Jennifer, before we lose you to a lightning storm and an internet outage, I want to just give you the floor is yours. We're going to continue to take everyone's questions here out of the YouTube live comment section, Twitter, TikTok as well. But the floor is yours before we say farewell.
I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. Well, it's always great to be here with you. I'm sorry we missed Mr. Tragos and Mr. Entin, my buddy. But your audience is always just one of the best. It's amazing. I always look back at their questions, their comments. They're great. Thank you for having me.
Jennifer,
Thanks, Jennifer.
You're always welcome here on WFLA Now. We really appreciate you.
It's always great to hear actual words from an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Other than
you beat me to it.
I can neither confirm
nor deny.
Which I remember I remember the first time I heard that as a young television reporter in Marshall, Texas, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. Then of course I kept hearing it, and I kept hearing it.
When you're young,
and I thought, oh, okay, I get it.
It's like, wow, the FBI responded.
I know.
But then you get the same response over and over and over again, and you're thinking, do they just? Jennifer, can you tell me? Do they type the words I can neither confirm nor deny, or do they just copy and paste it from all the previous emails that they send out? That's really what I want to know.
We have it memorized on the second day of training school.
It's just built into the fabric of their brains.
But I get it, because too much information. It can the novel Crime and Punishment, which I was told to read as a young journalist, talks about it. You know, a cop, an investigator, does not want a suspect, a defendant, to say, "Oh, well, if they incriminate themselves, they can't. If it hasn't been released and they know it's locked down, that suspect cannot go. Oh, I heard it I heard that on TV. I heard that on TV. No, you didn't. We didn't release that information. And that guy's now incriminated himself. That's a basic reason. I get that.
Jennifer, we appreciate you and your candor, and thank you, and you're always welcome back. I'm sure we'll see you on News Nation tonight.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All righty. Jennifer Coffendoffer, everybody. And
my friend, I've got to leave in like 5 minutes.
That's all right. It's all right.
It was interesting to be
stream
back,
alone
man. This
all
is
the
great.
time.
You've come a long way since you were out in the newsroom where
know.
we didn't show the wide shot. And,
yeah. So
and,
look, now we have the wide shot.
Yeah, it's nice.
And we're coming back to everybody to the content matter, or the subject matter rather. But yeah, Walt, it's this is your first time in here streaming with me?
No, I think a couple other times.
Okay.
But yeah, always.
Oh no, wait, the first live stream we ever did in here, you were part of.
That's right. We just talked about
stream.
yes, yeah, and you haven't asked me since, and I think it's because I don't walk by your desk anymore.
Well, you gotta come say hello, man.
You're separate. You should have you. Do you have a piece where you show where you moved from? You must have.
I think I think we had a very small setup.
Because our offices were you didn't really have an office. You were wide open. You were in the middle of the newsroom.
Yeah.
So walking by.
Oh God, I used to piss people off so much because I have a loud voice, so I would be in the middle of the newsroom. And
I remember you and Masa when I first got here.
We are
yelling at each other about talking too loud.
Yeah,
but you were both right.
But all in fun because we're like a brother sister.
I don't know if it was fun the one time, but it wasn't. It wasn't terrible. But I'm just saying.
It was hilarious.
I get it. You know,
Masa and I are the two.
Oh, I didn't realize I was on mute or off of mute. Did you guys hear me talking to my dogs? If you did, then that's totally cute. I always talk to them like they're like my babies before I take them out. That's so funny. Bryan Entin did do a new tweet. Let me make sure he hasn't done any in the last couple seconds. But it did say a minute ago, judge is not making any decisions today on the Kohberger gag order, which, I mean, that's pretty good that he's not making a decision, because that could mean, that could be good. Hearing set for June 9th to address it. Also a hearing June 27th to address cameras in court. So everybody be good. Because we want to have the cameras in there, Oh, I was? Oh, okay. I was muted. I wasn't sure if I hit the button or not. And I was like, oh, I always am. I'm overly cute with my dogs. Like, I swear that they would, like, they're like my baby. Like, they are my babies, but you would think that they were like real babies. Right, Summer? I know, too big of a case, but remember Lori Vallow? They did that with her. They were going to allow cameras, then they were going to just allow audio, and then they didn't even allow audio live streaming. So, oh man. Okay, I'm going to play this here for a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Is that all of it? I mean, are they not going to
Kohberger
have any more video?
Leaving the Latah County Courthouse,
Yeah.
but we'll keep an eye. In fact, I'll bring this up here in the center of our screen. Do you have another few minutes to do a rapid fire Q&A?
Yes, I do.
And that way that we
I think I'm in pretty good
can-
shape. I've been doing some other work while I'm here. Yeah,
Cool.
for sure.
So,
Love
folks, starting now, #HeyWalt only. Questions and comments just for WFLA's senior investigator here on the right side of your screen, who's working on a lot of stories here in Florida right now, but he took time out of his day to come hang out with us in the stream center. So let's get to comments. I'm only looking for #HeyWalt. If you have an observation that has gone unnoticed, if you have a question that has gone unasked, I'm really trying to get as many up on screen. We'll look for HeyWalt in a second, but really quickly, will the jury be sequestered? That's a good question. I mean, how does the this is more of a question for Peter Tragos or one of the other legal analysts that we have here on stream. Maybe a Brian Camerano is another one, but how you protect the jury and make sure that the jury is as neutral and as
Sequestration is really not done that often. I'm not sure if either of those attorneys would agree it's extreme. I know when I've tried to think, oh, that juror will be sequestered, I was wrong. So it's possible it won't be sequestered. The judge tells the jurors, beginning of the day, end of the day, generally, maybe at lunch break, probably at lunch break, do not watch any media, do not do this, do not do that. Do they really do it? Who knows? But they are told and they are warned, and jurors get removed. It's
really
embarrassing to get removed, but it's hard. It's harder now than it's ever been because we have social media as well. And so that's a hard thing to predict.
#HeyWalt, can you tell us a little bit about why the judge was changed and what that may mean about the gag order? So really quickly, the judge was changed because this went to district court.
Right.
So it's in a different court now. And that is, of course, that changes the legal sort of
Well, that's an
trajectory.
arraignment court generally. You're arraigned there. I don't think it impacts the gag order. And I think if I was a betting man, and you probably could bet on it somewhere, I would say the gag order remains in place. In a state like Idaho, it remains in place. In a different state, in a less conservative state, it might be removed. But I would bet in a state like Idaho, and maybe even in a less conservative state, I would think you keep the gag order again because this story has such intrigue. It will no doubt be a movie. There's going to be multiple books.
Brian Entin just tweeted something out. It says, correction, both gag order and cameras will be addressed on the 9th. So not June 27th for the cameras. It's going to be on the 9th. And that's the last tweet we got. It looks like people are leaving the courthouse. Do you guys, I think they have addressed everything. Gag order, scheduling for trial, and the arraignment, right? I think that we got it all. I just don't want to miss anything, like, you know, go off the live and miss something. But it looks like everyone's leaving.
For a jury trial.
You should do it, by the way. It's a great, if you have never been in the courtroom for a jury trial, you should do it because it will change your perspective on our system.
Somebody could be pouring, sometimes you'll see the pouring of a glass of water and you can hear everything. The acoustics in most courtrooms are so vibrant and loud. You can hear even the slightest, people shifting in their seats sometimes, something as quiet as that.
That's right.
Real quick, just refreshing here, make sure I'm not missing anything from. Oh, okay. No, Brian Entin, correction. Both the gag order and cameras will be addressed on the 9th. 27th is an event. I always have difficulty with this word.
Evidentiary?
Thank you. It's just one of those words that I have a block.
Evidentiary.
Evidentiary. Man, every now and again, I come across a word where I'm like,
I have a few of those.
We all have a few of them. Yeah.
It's weird.
But yes. So
we'll know on the 9th. The evidentiary hearing will be about discovery, I'm sure there will be complaints on, usually you hear a complaint on the defense side, I'm not getting this stuff fast enough. And you know, that's important because the defense wants to build a case. I doubt it's going to be.
No, they're bothering me too, Jax. That's why I was asking everybody in the chat. I was like, is this over? It looks like it's over. To me anyway. I just didn't want to like jump off the stream and then them come back and be like, oh no, we have another one. But they did the scheduling. They addressed the gag order and then they did the arraignment. So that should be all three. Yeah, no, these guys were starting to get on my damn nerves. I thought they were going to show something. I was thinking the same thing. And you know me, I aim to please. Plus, it's a beautiful day out. I don't know if it's a beautiful day where you guys are, but it's a beautiful day. And we're allowed to enjoy it because we're free birds. Yeah, they're going to address all that on the 9th. So, well, that is good. So it looks like the next hearing is going to be for the 9th, and they are going to go over the both gag orders for cameras and for the Goncalves side. And then on the 27th will be the evidentiary hearing where they'll present the evidence and things of that nature. So I think that we are good. Only 87 there. What do you mean 87? That's hot as hell. It's 77 here. Like when I took the dogs to the side yard, I was like, this is nice. And my dog is doing so much better, guys. Like, I know I've talked about it the last 3 days that she's doing better, but every day she gets better and like more happy. And my heart is full right now, y'all, because I'm just not good with like stuff like that. And I do still have Mia back here. She came back. I have to put her up on the big screen there. She's chilling. That's her chair now. I asked Vincent to get me this chair for my birthday. I really wanted I really wanted that chair. Like, I was dead set on it. It was an expensive chair too. And I was going to do my videos in that chair, and then the dog kind of took it over. So 71 where you're at, Steve? Wow, that's pretty nice too. 59 in Oregon. That's not bad though. 59. I'm good with I don't like it when it's too hot to where you're like in Ohio, we have humidity heat to where it's like you're dripping sweat and it's gross and but if like California, it's a dry heat that I can handle. It's just that it's out here, it's moist heat and it's ugh. But I think I'm gonna go sit down like where I was before, and just hang out by the pool because they haven't opened the pool yet. Maybe if I sit down there long enough, they'll open it. I've been bitching about that pool, but I like the, I don't have children and I love children. I love kids. I do. I have 5 nieces and nephews and a great niece. I love kids, but before the school gets out, they normally have the pool open by now. And it's just nice to be able to go enjoy the pool without all of the kids, you know, just to enjoy it. If you just want some silence, just peace and quiet, you know, and then when the kids come down, I love hearing them having fun too. That like makes my whole day. But you know, for the first couple weeks, I like that like little piece of quietness, you know. And I have a feeling they're gonna like put that up on the 30th. So I'm gonna go in there, Isabel. or not Isabel, Summer, because Summer's the one that told me to. I'm going to go in the office. I should record it. I should video it. Because they told us like 2 weeks ago that this pool would be open. I know I'm bitching about a pool, but your girl needs a tan. I'm like tan in weird spots. My face looks like really dark. I don't know what's going on. And then this is from my surgery. It looks red though. I don't know. I'm like, that's what I look like without makeup though. That's me. That's me. That's me. So yeah, I won't make you listen to him anymore because I think that was he was over. I'll check Brian's tweet one more time. And it's the same. So yeah, this is a really weird life because it's so early. Maybe we'll do like a members only, or maybe I'll come back on and do something tonight because I know that there's some more cases I want to go over that have kind of got pushed back because of everything going on with this case. But as of now, this is all that we have. So we really don't have anything to deep dive into. He just said, you know, yes, no, yes, no. So I don't know what other creators, their lives are going to be like now because there's not, with the gag order still being in place. I don't know if people are going to come out and talk. Maybe Goncalves family, maybe some of the families of the victims will come out and talk. That would be nice. If they do, I'll make a video or we'll do a live or something over that. But we do have more trials coming up. Quentin Simon, Delphi, Sarah Boone, to name a few. And then we have cases that are just now starting and I need to get caught up. So we'll go over all of those. So if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe, hit the like. Would love for you to do that. Yeah, I can't believe that we're like over 8,000 subscribers now, guys. We're at, let's see. You guys are just like the best. Oh my gosh, we're at 8,020. Y'all, man, you're making me feel so special. You really are. You really are. And thanks to everybody who's been my original people since like I started, you know, I love that. So I'll see you guys all very soon. Make sure you're, if you want to be alerted, have the bell icon on because, you know, the lives may be a little weird right now because of with Kohberger going to court a little bit here and there. And then we'll probably do some stuff, at night too. Nancy hasn't said anything yet, but I'm going to check. Actually, I'll check Fox Nation really quick. Because she, I wanted to cover Madeline's case. They ended up finding her, but I still am going to cover it. Oh, what's this? They do. Go back. What is this? Hold on. What is this? Why do I have to sign in with my TV provider? Looks like they do have something. Of course, I've got to go down to the S's. It usually just lets me go right on Fox Nation. Maybe I just have to sign back in. Oh, this is like short, but let me see. Okay, yeah. We'll go over, maybe we'll do a live tomorrow or tonight. They already have Fox Nation. It's not Nancy Grace, but Fox Nation already has something on it. Let me check actually Nancy Grace though. Because you know I love me my Nancy. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't heard from her in a while. It's been a couple days. Doesn't look like it, but there is other cases, or there are other cases I want to go over. Like the Madeline case I was telling you guys about. She was missing and then she was found murdered by we're thinking her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. But Nancy did a missing story over it. So I thought we would start with that and then I would lead up to, what happened the following couple days after that. So, and Sarah Boone, I can't wait for that one. That one's just going to be good. That's going to be good stuff. So, okay, I will see you guys all later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys all in the next live. Bye, guys.